Okay, and we are back with the rest of My Little Pony Season 5 as we get off of the hiatus and get back into the new episodes. This time with 3 rarity episodes in a row, at least 3 in a row. And the first of these 3 is Canterlot Boutique. Rarity finally achieves her dream of owning her own boutique in Canterlot and opens up Canterlot Carousel, a boutique which she is running with the help of her new manager, Sassy Saddles. Sassy quickly takes control of running the boutique and starts doing things her way and putting the spotlight on herself, while Rarity ends up in a back row sewing hundreds and hundreds of identical dresses with no opportunity to use her creativity and feel her inspiration. It's an old story of what does the artist prefer being. Does an artist want to live their life being an artist, or does the artist want to mass produce items and have success, even though it comes at the cost of artistic expression? And that's a thing that each individual artist has to decide on their own. Obviously, some people out there don't mind their art being mass produced. Otherwise, mass produced things wouldn't exist. And it really is a good way to make a living when you have a particular talent to mass produce something and sell it to customers everywhere who all want their own piece of art, whatever it happens to be, whether it's a dress or a costume or a plushie, a painting, a picture, or any number of other things that can be mass produced. On the other hand, having something which is your art that you make for each individual person one at a time, and you take special care to make each piece unique and individual and special with time and care and love and quality, it's another way to go. Sure, you may not have the fame and wealth that you get from mass production, but there's a certain kind of emotional reward that you get from seeing the individual person appreciate your quality artwork. Artists need to decide each for themselves which lifestyle they prefer to live. Some won't mind being mass produced, and others would much rather prefer to be themselves and to be unique. But what does this episode give us that's fascinating? Well, the first thing I'm fascinated by is that a series actually allowed the character to achieve her dream, and at the end of the episode she still has her dream. Some episodes would have done character achieves dream. Character's dream isn't what they thought it would be. Character gives up the dream, and character goes back to being what they've always been throughout the series, and we return everything to status quo. But here we have Rarity achieve her dream, realize her dream isn't what she wanted it to be, and then Rarity modifies her dream so that she's content with having the dream realized and on her terms, not the terms of anyone else. And when it's all over, she has successfully achieved her dream, and now she can move on to bigger and better things. Her character has evolved from what it was when she started, and most importantly, we don't hit the reset button and send her back to Ponyville. even more important, she doesn't have to leave Ponyville to have her dream. She can now move between two locations and give both equal attention. The character of Sassy Saddles was also interesting. She starts off seeming like an antagonist who's going to take advantage of Princess Twilight's celebrity status and take advantage of Rarity's hard work, and she's going to try and steal the spotlight and steal the business and turn Rarity's boutique into Sassy Saddles' boutique, and she's going to run things her way and do things her way. But then in a single line we get a ton of backstory and character development without needing drawn out exposition. This is something that more characters need to do to get their point across rather than rambling. In that one line that she says about "I don't want another boutique to fail," really says something about the character. In other words, Sassy is a character who has run other boutiques, and for reasons that were either her fault or the fault of her partner, she's experienced failure, perhaps maybe even more than once, and she's trying her hardest not to fail. It'd be interesting to get deeper into the backstory of why Sassy's other boutiques failed. Was it always Sassy's fault that she always tried to take too much power and she was always making her own mistakes? Or was it the fault of her business partners not listening to her advice? It'd be definitely interesting to see what caused the other boutiques to fail. Also nice that we got to see Twilight recognized as a celebrity. After going through a lot of Season 4 not seeing Twilight as a celebrity, now in Season 5 she's being recognized as a celebrity quite frequently. The song Rules of Rarity was a good song, very similar in tone, rhythm, and message as was Rarity's other song, The Art of the Dress. Both Rules of Rarity and Art of the Dress tell the story of Rarity being an artist and faced with the troubles that artists have to face when expressing their art. The satisfaction of her own artistic needs and feelings and inspirations versus the needs of the customer. Both songs also have that sort of sewing machine quality to the beat if you pay attention to the way it sounds, and yet they sound different enough that it's not just copy and pasting the same song. It tried to go through some low points similar to what Pinky's Lament did, but wasn't quite as successful in my opinion as Pinkie Pie's song was. But it did have a number of nice reprieves. All in all, I'm saying good song, good contender for the top Rarity songs, but not really up there in the top My Little Pony songs. Still doesn't beat anything Pinkie Pie has sung. Another thought, this entire situation that Rarity got herself into could have been avoided one of two ways. One, put all of the princesses in dresses so that all of the dresses would be considered princess dresses. Then they would be all equally popular, instead of having the one dress worn by the one celebrity suddenly be the hot item. And in addition to this thought, realize that selling one dress and only one dress and having it be the hot item only leads to trends and fads, and the fact that eventually everyone's going to have one of these and the trend is going to die off and the sales will drop. That's another direction the show could have gone, and I'm glad they didn't go that way. It's nice to have the characters resolve the issue rather than having the issue resolve itself. Another thing Rarity could have done is she could have hired help and had that help come in and do some of the work for her. If Rarity had used other models, or if the other dresses had been sold also, or if Rarity had had help, then Rarity and Sassy would not have learned this important lesson together, and we wouldn't have had an episode. Another thought, the series seems to be paying good attention to background characters. Now that we know so much about the background characters thanks to the 100th episode and Amending Fences, we have new background characters to fall in love with and become obsessed over. And they've been doing a really good job of presenting these characters, giving them voices, lines, and personalities right from their first introduction, and taking the time to make them seem interesting. They've also taken background characters who were new this season, who appeared in previous episodes, and they've reused them and brought them back. So characters who were introduced in Canterlot Boutique could easily pop up again in future episodes. Be definitely interesting to see how background ponies are treated from now on. Other thought that I have is that Rarity meets yet another celebrity pony in the fashion industry. After the big deal people made over Trenderhoof, I'm just going to say that according to what I've seen in past episodes like Suited for Success and Green Isn't Your Color, as well as what I've seen in this episode, that cases like Trenderhoof aren't introducing ponies out of nowhere that we've never seen before. It's more like Rarity is so up on the fashion world that she, of course, would naturally know the names of any pony who's also in the fashion industry. No need to question why she would know the names of ponies that the audience has never met before. And the final thought I have for this episode is the shockingly hilarious ending gag. Getting to see the fat pony, for lack of better description, puts a lot of thoughts into what My Little Pony is doing. One, we saw the character on a poster, and then later saw the character in person in an episode, answering the question that we all had, who was that on the poster? It gives us another body type to add variety to the different types of ponies that can be created as pony OCs. Another thing that this means is that My Little Pony is not pointing out the fat character and saying, hey, look at this fat character. Characters are not treating this character special because she's fat and she deserves pity. They're not treating her special because she's fat and fat is beautiful. They're not treating her special because she's fat and ugly and they want to put her down. They just let her walk into the area, say her lines, they respond to her, and they don't bat an eye. She's just accepted as equally as normal as all of the other body types. Also, another fascinating fact about this pony's cutie mark is that it's a cutie mark of her face surrounded by a large star and several smaller stars, which just sort of does some world building on how cutie marks look like and what they could potentially look like. I have to see where this episode fits after the next two Rarity-centered episodes coming out later this week. thank you for watching, and good night.